So I like what you're doing. I like that you're setting up processes and you're taking yourself out of the equation.
That's right.
Because you do not have to be there for something to get done on the property.
Nope.
There's a problem, there's an issue, you have someone that you can trust.
Right.
You built your roots, you built a solid foundation here with team members that you can trust. And you're then able to put them in a process that you've defined and step back.
That is I didn't get into this to be aggravated. Right? I didn't get into this to make more work.
And I'm sure you've never been aggregated.
Not at all. Until the tenant calls me. I'm not paying the rent unless you fix this absolutely right now.
Right.
Or to have a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to a property at 2 a.m. to fix the leaking door.
Of course.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
So, and I'm getting older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very vital, youthful.
You are extremely youthful.
That's right.
Love it.
I know. But
every meeting, man, you're out there hustling.
But this
You
is
gotta
going to be
hustle.
my retirement income.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just hand everything over to Adam, and I'll just get the checks at the end of the month.
Okay, so you have a contractor doing the management on the side of the issues and
Maintenance,
property.
right.
What about the side of marketing it, leasing it, and understanding if prospective tenants are qualified? How are you handling that side of it?
Okay, good question. I hand that over to him as well,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a broker,
Mm-hmm.
so I can list the properties. I also know a lot of people in Trenton who have tenants. I send out an email blast. Hey, if you got somebody, let me know, I'll pay you. I'm not trying to, even if I get the lead,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to hand it over to one of the guys, like one of my agents,
Mm-hmm.
because I want them to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like my property, I'm not going to show them 20 other properties.
Right.
You know, with
Right.
$800 each. That's not going to happen. So I'm happy to pay my agents, because then they're loyal to me.
So the agents will show it, they'll bring the tenants, they'll walk them through it, so you're outside of that
They'll do an
process again.
NTN report, National Tenant Network.
Mhm.
They'll check everything out.
Mhm.
You know, call the previous landlord. Ask them all the obvious questions. Why are they moving?
Yeah.
Right. Any evictions? Why are they moving? What's the problem? And but then ultimately, I want to meet them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do want to meet.
I do want to meet the tenant.
So that is one point where you do want to get involved.
I want to get a feel for them. You know,
Mhm.
how do they present themselves? How are they dressed? If they have kids with them, are the kids well behaved,
Mhm.
or they're just letting the kids run around the place?
Sure.
I want to. You could always be wrong, but I want to get a feel for them, because there's an expression that I've learned from one of my mentors, and that is, what you are in one thing, you are in everything.
Sure.
So if they come and the kids are running around the place and they're just not
If they can't keep it together for a 10-minute meeting,
Right.
what are they going to do with that
Thank you.
house in the
Thank you.
next
I
10
was trying
months,
to be
right?
careful. Right. That's exactly right.
Right.
And also, I require a month and a half security up front.
Always.
Always.
Now
If
that
they
is
say
the maximum allowable by the state of New Jersey.
that is true.
Right.
So if they say to me, well, let me give you a little bit now, and I'll keep, no. Because if they don't have a month and a half security, they don't have the rent.
Right.
And I'm not playing that game.
So when they move in, they actually need 2.5 months rent.
That's right. They want the first month and a half security and the first month's rent. And I want it in certified funds or a bank check.
Do you take cash?
I will, yeah, I'll take cash, because I go right next door to the bank and deposit
Okay.
it. So that's fine with me.
Great.
But then they know, here is your bank account number.
Mhm.
You go to PNC Bank, you deposit the money, and then I'll see it immediately in my account. So there's
So they can go to the bank, deposit it, and it's there.
and it's there, and they don't have to say, well, no, there are no excuses.
Mhm.
The money's there or it's not there.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Okay. After the 5th day, there's a late fee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind, I understand, especially in Trenton, you're not dealing with very wealthy people. I understand life gets in the way. I'm a very understandable person. So if you call me, you wouldn't call me, but if one of my tenants calls me and says, Rick, listen, I had a little problem with the car. I'll pay the rent, next week when I get paid, and I'll pay and they do that, no problem.
Right.
We're golden.
Mhm.
What I don't like is when the BS in me. And I
Mhm.
get the stories and the stories and the stories. And then I have to call my attorney, let's start the eviction.
Right.
And amazingly, they show up with the rent. Isn't that amazing?
They show it up. They show up with the money, right?
Yeah, they show up with the money,
Yeah.
right? They had it all along.
So one thing I found scaling so quickly, and you're scaling sort of in a more step-by-step
Right.
progression, which is we were talking about this last week, I think is a really good approach for a lot of investors because you build up those systems and processes over time. Where I made a jump and acquired 40 units all in one big batch, I have a property management company handling all of that. But
Sure.
our process is there's really no leniency. You know, after the 5th, we file. If they show up to court with the money or they show up with the money beforehand, great, we'll cancel it. But then the next month, if it happens again, we file
Okay.
again. And it's just, there's no room for black and white once you get to a certain level.
Sure, I understand
No.
that. I know because it's just too many.
Absolutely.
Right, I
And everyone
understand.
has a story. Everyone's got the car that has a problem.
And you know, it's not that the stories are a lie.
Absolutely. Right.
Sometimes the story is absolutely true.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I have a tenant who's been there 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they always pay the rent on time, and they said, Rick, I was sick, you know, I couldn't, whatever it is, I will pay you next week or in 2 weeks. I'll go, okay, I'm not going to evict them. I'm not going to do that. They're good people. I understand that. It's when it's constant
Right.
and they're full of
Right.
baloney
Right.
that I just.
So if it's a good tenant, but historically good tenant,
Right.
and they don't pay because they have an excuse, how long do you wait?
They have to pay within the month.
Okay.
If it goes into the next month, I'm sorry.
That's when you file.
That's when I file.
Okay.
I prefer not to. I don't want an eviction. It costs too much
Of course
money.
not.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody.
No.
And I'll give them some slack depending upon their history. I've done 2 evictions in the last 3.5 years. I have Section 8 tenants.
Mhm.
Neither of them were Section 8.
I have great Section 8 tenants as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's not, you know, Section 8 gets a bad reputation. I
Right,
think,
it does, but it's not warranted. People are people. And I have Section 8 tenants who are wonderful people, and they're just a little bit behind the 8 ball, but they're fine. And other people, my worst tenant ever was a lawyer.
lawyer.
Yeah, he was an animal. He was destroyed the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Okay, so then what comes after this 7 unit? What's
I don't know. You know, I just sent out another batch of letters.
Okay.
So I got a call today. You know, I own property down in Willingboro, which is near Mount Holly. You know.
Yep.
Okay. So I got a call today from a woman who owns a vacant lot, a building lot. The house burned down in 2012. She wants to get rid of it.
Okay.
So maybe now I'm not into building, but there might be something where I can get a contract, an assignable contract, that's signed over to a builder, make a few bucks. I have a contract on another house in Willingboro. I'm trying to arrange for the financing on it now to close on it. It depends which comes my way. It could be a wholesale deal, it could be a flip, it could be a single family home, it could be a multifamily home. It all depends. I never know when that phone rings, which is sort of fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's not boring. I never know when the phone rings
Yeah.
what's going to be on the other end. Had a guy call me the other night. He says, I got your letter. My name is Frank. Hello, Frank. Got your letter. I need $500,000. I'll sell anything I got, including my mother.
Whoa, all right.
I said, Frank, I'm not interested in your mother. Well, then take me off your list. Oh, that's the true story, by the way.
Wow.
That's the true
Mother
story.
was a requirement. She's got to go. She's a fixture in the house.
So
Go with it.
you just never know. You just never know what's
Right.
going to be on the inside.
So one thing I like in what you just said is that you, even though you've got the 7 unit, you've got all this going on, you're still putting out letters. Because if you wait until that project is done, you're going to fall behind.
Then you're going like this,
Right.
right?
So you have to keep the steady stream going.
You got to keep it going, and then you get something, you get on the phone, arrange for the financing. I love seller financing. That's the easiest. It's good for the seller. They're still getting an annuity every month. I love private money, because there's no finance costs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like with, on this property, I actually have private money, and for the purchase, $45,000. But what I'm doing is I'm paying him. He's going to retire in a couple of years. Doesn't make much money, so the fact that he's getting a check every month helps with retirement. And I'm really aggressively retiring the loan. It's an amortized loan. I'm paying him $500 a month.
Okay.
So that this house will be paid off in 10 years, and he's thrilled by it because it'll be $500 a month. Property will still cash flow.
For you.
Yeah, still cash flow about $250 a month.
Okay.
It's a nice property,
Mm-hmm.
and he's happy. So you're doing seller financing, you're making everybody happy. Right?
Yeah.
It has to be a win-win. And
What is that conversation like when you first approach him? How do you explain a concept like seller financing to someone that may not be familiar with it?
well, in fact, he wasn't. So I said to him, "Listen, he wanted to move." I said, "There's no mortgage on the property, right? If there's a mortgage on the property, especially if it's highly leveraged, seller financing probably is not a
Right.
okay. There's no mortgage on the property, so I could say to him, listen, if I could show you, I could buy your property from you, no longer own it, no more tenant headaches, nothing, right? You're gone from the situation, but you still get a monthly check. Would that be of interest to you?"
Okay.
"Well, what do you mean?" "Well, I could pay Bank of America, or I could pay you. I'd rather pay you." And explain to him how it works. Instead of me paying the bank, I'm paying you. You have a lien on the property. So then the question is, well, what if you don't pay me? Well, you could take the property back.
Right.
But when, with the 7 unit, that was the question, because I'm only putting 10% down on a $350,000 property. So he said to me, "Have you ever been foreclosed on?" "No." "How do I know you pay me?" I said, "Well, how about if I give you the name of a few people that I pay now? And you can call them
Yeah.
and ask them if I pay them."
Yeah.
And I gave them a couple of names. I called them first just to say, "Hey, listen, this guy's going to call you." And of course, they gave glowing reports because they get paid every month.
Right.
Well, I just set it on my account. I don't have to think about it. I just set it up on automatic payment. They get this check every month.
Yep.
So they're happy. And they said to him, "Guys, straightforward, he pays on time and so forth." So he said, "Okay, let's do the deal."
It's so important to have a good reputation and a track record to be able to point someone like that you just met, you just have a few conversations to get him to essentially loan you what $315,000.
$315,000.
Right. He's loaning you that money based on just meeting you, but you have a track record.
I haven't met him.
You haven't even met him. Oh, it's just phone calls.
Phone calls.
That's amazing. That's great. That's really great. That shows what a great negotiater you are. Number one.
Well, he's out in
but
New York,
also,
so,
you know, the history and the track record and how important that is because. Like you said, how you do anything in paying the first guy from 10 deals ago resonates and reflects how you get the next deal because your reputation follows you.
Right. And if you don't have your reputation is everything. And if you don't have a reputation, you're done.
Right.
And it will, you screw one person once, inadvertently or not, it's going to get around and you're done. You're finished.
Absolutely.
So I would do, my loans come first. They have to be paid.
I would say that too.
Absolutely.
Right?
They have to be paid.
That's number one. Right?
Number one.
Number one is take care of the people loaning you money.
That's right.
Take care of your tenants. Take care of safety issues. You know, all those things are
Right.
super top priority. And then, you know, your money, what you get paid is secondary. It's important,
Yeah.
but it's not as important as taking care of the people that are loaning you money.
That's right. Take care of the people, take care of you.
Right.
That's
Go a
right.
long way.
And then they tell other people what a great person you are and how, okay. And I've had referrals from other people. "Hey, I just met a guy and he says, 'Boy, what are you doing?' I told him, and you got me. 'Oh boy, that's great. Do you think you could do that for me?' I had a coffee with him and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens."
Great.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
Well, this
All
has
right.
been a really good interview, Rick.
Yeah, and I really admire the fact that you really have not been in the business that long.
Mm-hmm.
And you went from, two properties?
Three to 43.
Okay,
units.
3 to 43.
Yeah.
And that took chutzpah. So,
It's a big jump.
It is a big jump. There must have been some sleepless nights.
Lots of sleepless nights.
I
Lots of
understand,
sleepless nights,
but and then you were able to leave your job, and now you're doing this full
I'm
time.
doing this full time.
Well,
now.
I admire.
So I get to hang out with you here on a Monday afternoon. I love
Who
it.
better? What better person than
That's what I want to do every day.
Okay. Well, I'm married, so I'm.
No,
but,
well, we can still hang out.
We can still hang out. Okay. All right, buddy.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay. So, guys, that's it for today. I really enjoyed speaking to my friend Justin and talking about my projects. And if you want to see this video and some of the other rehabs I've done and some of the information I've done on creative financing, just visit my YouTube my YouTube channel at RLS Properties, and you'll see a bunch of them. So until next time, sayonara.